the story of Heathcliff, an enigmatic and vengeful Byronic hero of Wuthering Heights, unravels in front of the reader as the novel progresses. The gypsy-like child faces the challenges of growing up as a hated outsider within his own adopted family, developing into a bitter and, ultimately, miserable man. Heathcliff's lifelong loneliness causes him to become obsessed with the one person he ever felt connected to, Catherine, which makes her rejection of him much more devastating. This complex character, being incredibly vulnerable himself due to his traumatic past, shows little sympathy to the people around him, choosing the revenge path instead. Heathcliff's traumatic childhood, as well as the prevailing feelings of loneliness and isolation, led to his emotional vulnerability guarded by the brutish exterior and the mistrust of others. Heathcliff, the rather slovenly and barely civilized young man, represents the unconscious, impulsive, with no moral rules, and governed by sexual and aggressive impulses. Although Heathcliff and Catherine become inseparable when Mr. Earnshaw takes the dirty, ragged, black-haired child in, he is otherwise shown at every turn that he is most unwelcome in the family. He is described as a sullen, patient child, hardened, perhaps, to ill treatment, and was often abused physically and mentally by Hindley, Earnshaw's heir. Childhood traumas often lead to unexpected problems in adulthood. Although Heathcliff chose not to retaliate during those moments of mistreatment and instead presented himself as a troubleless and disciplined child, the many years of adversity fed into his ultimate desire for revenge. The unusual protagonist, unable to control the intensity of his feelings, became obsessive over the love of his life, Catherine, and his misery and guilt eventually killed him. Heathcliff is often named of the most romantic literary characters for his eternally loyal love for Catherine. However, upon finding out that she married Edgar, he chooses to exact revenge on her and her child, instead of letting her live her life as happily as she could. Bittered by the constant rejection by his parents, by his adoptive family, by his love, Heathcliff himself rejects any thoughts of happiness for himself and instead focuses on hurting others. On her deathbed, Catherine blames Heathcliff for her demise, which haunts him until his very death. In addition, perhaps hurt by the perceived betrayal by his only love, he chooses never to trust or show affection to anyone again. The only other man he feels any sort of respect or affection for, Hareton, becomes a pawn in Heathcliff's revenge plan nonetheless. Heathcliff, who loved Catherine so deeply and loyally, showed little to no sympathy or kindness to the other characters. While not causing any trouble as a child and not even fighting back in cases of abuse, it was due to his hardened, wolf-like personality rather than politeness and kind-heartedness. Once rejected by Catherine, he, like a wounded puppy, becomes bitter at the world and even those that he loves and becomes selfish in striving to make others hurt in revenge. An incredibly miserable and lonely man, he died just as he lived, suffering and alone, unable to let other people in. You can find this and many other essay samples on our website studycorgi.com.